Hello, bookworms of Concord. I finished The Way of Kings, finally. And so I'm going to just give my basic review first, and then I'll, for those of you who don't know anything about it, I'll get into that, because a lot of people, like me, still haven't really heard of the book or even read it, so I know there are some people around who might not be aware of it, so that's why I'm going to save what it's about for later. But yeah, I am completely blown away, which might be predictable. It took me a long time to finally get to the Stormlight archive. But I'm glad I started it when I did, because reading other really long books with a wide cast of characters has prepared me for this journey. If I hadn't read any other books of similar length and depth, I fear I might have DNF'd the book. The Way of Kings is just phenomenal. If I hadn't had the experience of reading other long books, I probably would have DNF'd this before 100 pages. But with that said, if you don't enjoy tedious world building and character development, you might not enjoy this book or the series as much, because they're all quite thick like this. This is, I think, I haven't checked, but just based on the sizes of the ones I have at home, this looks to be the smallest of the five of them. But yeah, so you might not enjoy it as much because of the in-depth character development and world building. But I still encourage you to try if you're not into that kind of reading, because in the words of, if I can borrow from another universe, in the words of Tyrion Lannister from Game of Thrones, a mind needs books as a sword needs a whetstone if it is to keep its edge, right? So reading various just different types of books that you normally don't read would be a tremendous benefit, I think. Because in my experience, I found that reading something new that you normally wouldn't read provides many cognitive benefits and deeper appreciation of other genres. With all that said, I find this book to be absolute perfection. There's not really much I can say review-wise about that, because seriously, not a single complaint. There are quite a few editorial errors, but that's really the publisher's fault, not Sanderson's. But I see now what all the hype of the Stormlight archive has been about. It's just been constant on my For You page, and as well as the recommended videos on YouTube. But just not a single plot point is abandoned. Not a single side character is inconsequential, and I just cannot wait to continue the series. Okay, so that's my very basic review, and I'm staying basic with it because there's just so much in here. But in case you know nothing about this book like I did not too long ago, The Way of Kings is book one of Sanderson's planned 10-part series of the Stormlight Archive, which is the main body of his Cosmere universe, I believe. And there are 5 books so far out of those 10. The most recent was just published, I believe, December 2024, if I remember correctly. So The Way of Kings, it's a bit slow at first because it focuses on character and world building immensely, which is to be expected for such a vast undertaking of creating an entirely new universe that's not derivative of Tolkien's Lord of the Rings. And if you begin this series, I urge you to keep with it if you find the world building to be a bit slow or boring. That's just part of world building. If you read The Lord of the Rings, that's part of what made the first book, The Fellowship of the Ring, so difficult to read, because it's just a lot of world building, especially for the first 100 pages or so. Part of this world building is an entirely unique magic and money system, as well as a different kind of racism, light eyes versus dark eyes. So, I have dark brown eyes, so I'd be dark eyes. And for whatever reason, light eyes are viewed as superior to dark eyes, and this results in how dark eyes are treated and the hatred and distrust that dark eyes have for light eyes. There are also cultural and social differences between men and women. Like men tend to eat bitter food and women eat sweet food. And the liberal arts like writing, reading, philosophy, and art are seen as feminine pursuits, so only women know how to read and write, mostly. If a man needs to learn information from a book, a woman reads it to him, so women tend to serve as scribes in various capacities. A man might learn how to read and write, but this is pretty rare and it's viewed as taboo. Now, so the events surrounding the Way of Kings begins with an introduction to the Desolations, which is a repetitive period of cyclical wars on the continent of Roshar. It's the method of these enigmatic void bringers to exile mankind to eventually to damnation. But at the beginning of the book, something happens that changes these cyclical wars that lead to the main events of the book, including the assassination of Gavilar, king of Alethkar, by someone only known as the White Assassin, which leads to the king's son and heir, Alethkar, and the Alethi high princes agreeing to a vengeance pact to avenge the king's death at the hands of the Parshendi, who took credit for Gavilar's assassination. These are the main events of the book you should know about, and there's captivating political intrigue, deception, and just awesome action scenes. So that's the world events, the characters. The Way of Kings follows a set of characters. One is Kaladin, who is a trained surgeon turned soldier, and his story begins as a legendary soldier, legendary soldier. Then in the next chapter about him, his circumstances are completely reversed, where he is now a slave within Alethkar's army, and you don't find out what happened to him until later in the book, and believe me, the reveal is worth it. Another is Dalinar, who is King Alethkar's uncle and brother of assassinated Gavilar. I won't say much about him because it's best you experience the story yourself, but I will say he is known as a legendary warrior nicknamed the Blackthorn. But something begins happening to him that results in a completely change of character, including but not limited to the assassination of his brother, the former king Gavilar. And there are other minor characters you read about in the interlude chapters, as well as the main ones, but some themes the book explores also are depression, leadership, and perseverance in the face of adversity. So long book. This edition is 1,007 pages, but just the buildup of all the characters and the main events is just incredibly worth it. It makes all the reading, the slow reading of the world building and learning of all the characters just so worth it. I cannot stress that enough. I've said it so much already. So yeah, I can't wait to continue the series. I am still in Finland. I have to, so I won't be able to continue the series until I get back home to Michigan, where the rest of my books are. But I've gotten other books here during my stay here to hold me over until then. So yeah, if you haven't read it, pick it up, start the series. It's amazing. Okay, bye.